What is the update in how to get Paragon, and as well, where am I? How am I doing with my Paragon grind? Do I care that I'm not Paragon yet? To be honest, I don't. Right, I've got other stuff that I'm more interested in. But I do want to get to Paragon. That doesn't mean to say that I'm not working towards something. And one thing that I have really enjoyed is being non-spending and figuring out the best way to become Paragon and picking up the little chunks of Tier 3 Alpha and Tier 6 Basic as I go. One of the biggest downsides with Eternity of Pain is the extent of how far you can go with getting, the rewards. Because that's the biggest problem with being Thronebreaker, is that, the most you could get was 17. And the milestone was I think it was 16 or something. So it's good in some ways because it made the Thronebreaker grind for it a little bit more easier. But the downside is that it missed you out on an opportunity to get fully formed Tier 6 Basic and Tier 3 Alpha by the furthest inroads of 23 points. So that was kind of it was a bit annoying. I was kind of a little bit miffed by that. But, at the end of the day, this has been a longer process to kind of get Paragon. In comparison to Thronebreaker, the biggest disappointment in comparison with titles is how you could get it and how you could work for it, especially from a non-spending standpoint, and the content. We talk about the content. Now, I don't kind of I'm not overly disrespectful to Kabam about the way that they kind of made the title, because they've made it so that you have to work hard to get it. Whereas before, and it's you have to work 10 times as hard to get Paragon than you would for Thronebreaker. Allow me just to elaborate on that point. When it came to becoming Thronebreaker for the first time, you had to go through Act 6. You could do through the, grind Act 6. You could go through it, which isn't too bad. That's kind of it could be a case okay, 3,100 units. And Odin's worth at the time, if you're just a mid-range kind of player, not too much skill to it, whatever. You did Act 6 and you're okay, cool, I've done Act 6. Right at the end of Act 6, your prize for doing such a task would be to get 25% of a Tier 5 class catalyst, and you may or may not have at least one fully formed rank 3 6-star. At the time when Thronebreaker was released, not many people had that, and especially if you're non-spending. So it meant that as well as doing Act 6, you may have had to as well do a run in Abyss of Legends, and that was the completion. Now, I took a gamble at the time in order to do that, so it kind of I think my first run, which was a bit rough, cost me about 5,000 units. So it's 5,000 units plus doing that. So it's it is what it is when it comes to that particular grind. As at the end of it, from a completion standpoint, you get a Tier 5 class catalyst, and then you rank up a champion. Boom, there you go, Thronebreaker. So that's 2 bits of content. The kind of comparison this time is that you have to do loads of Karina's challenges, which might mean you have to return back to Abyss of Legends several times, also Labyrinth of Legends, and also things like Act 6 in some sort of capacity for a small sliver of the opportunity to get something to then later rank up a champion to rank 4-6. It's completely different than it was before, especially if you're non-spending to this. I don't know, that doesn't mean to say if you're non-spending, you can't get through it, because I've gone and grinded through stuff like this, and I'm about to kind of start my kind of grind process with it. Karina's challenges wise, I am up to 5 of 9, sort of derailed because of Revolution being removed, and I really want to do Revolution before going into the Abyss ones. And I'm not a fan of the Abyss ones, to be honest. I find the Abyss ones very boring. I find the Elaborate for Legends, that grind, very boring. And that's just the problem with a lot of that content that Kabam put out, is boring. It makes it even more boring because it's you've got to do it once. When to get Thronebreaker, you literally have to do it once in order to get the rank up stuff you need in order to get the first rank 3 6-star, and therefore getting you Thronebreaker. And Paragon, you got to do it several times. So as a comparison. But as I said, I'm not completely deterred by this. I've got a grind process in order to achieve it. And obviously, at this moment in time, at the point of recording this video, I have 2 rank 4 6-star champions, which is King Groot and Doctor Doom. I absolutely love those. I'm happy with my choices. But when it comes to rank up materials, I'm going to show you that. You can see where is it? I put on screen how much I've got already, which is there, which I've got 1 fully formed Tier 6 Basic and 19k 600 fragments and a Tier 3 Alpha I've got, what is it, 41,500 of that. But look, that's not important. What is important, though, is the extent of where we're up to with me charting a course for the future and trying to get Paragon by end of July or some point in August. So with Eternity of Pain Part 1 coming to an end and Part 2 coming at some point in July and then ending late August for the rewards being given out, it could follow a scheme like this. So at the moment in my stash, you know, I've got the equivalent to 76,600 tier 6 basic fragments and 41,500 tier 3 alpha fragments, as per what we've just seen. In Eternity of Pain, I've got guaranteed 28,500 tier 6 basic fragments coming in and 22,500 tier 3 alpha fragments coming in. June's side quest gives you 11,400 tier 6 basic fragments, and tier 3 alpha fragments I'm expected to get 9,000. This means that I will have 116,500 fragments. God, all these numbers. And 72,000 tier 3 alpha fragments. Now, July 4th deals we'll come back to in a minute. This means that at the point of this video and at the end of this month, so June, before the July 4th deals kind of drop. So I will be having a deficit. And the reason to mention deficit is that this is how much more fragments I need. 54,500 tier 6 basic fragments and 62,000 tier 3 alpha fragments. Now, if I kind of like, you know, think logically, there are some things that I want to do. Now, the Revolution Volume 2, as you know, if you watch the MCN, you'll know that that's not coming back till at least July, August. So what that does is it derails or kind of refocuses my grind in different areas for it. And I kind of feel like maybe I'm not interested in rushing around. I've got a few things on personally in July and August. So I kind of feel like a nice kind of like easy grind to get Paragon is kind of important. Currently, I don't see a huge amount of value being Paragon at the moment. Yes, there are some decent things with the daily. I've seen that. And yes, there is the calendar. But apart from that, there doesn't seem to be any like extra perks to being Paragon that will kind of make me want to rush out to get it. I definitely want to get it, as I said. But you need to be very careful about burnout. And that's something I don't want to do, is completely burn out trying to achieve this. So I have options. I think the same thing with you as a player. You have options. I'll put a link to this spreadsheet in the description if you're interested. If you're not, you're not. But there are things coming on that might be quite interesting. To be honest, I like the idea of maybe waiting around for like Act 8.1. If that drops in July or August, we have to wait until the end of the week, or at least wait till, you know, next month to find out what's happening with that one. But that could be quite a nice kind of interesting thing. And that's one thing that I've just been like, what's been lacking with this game is having 8.1 come in and just start like the kind of the new grind process to go and grab it, get it done, get some more kind of fragments. I kind of feel like we're on a new journey once every 3 to 6 months that we're doing these new kind of like story mode bits. As I said, I'm not a massive fan of doing Abyss, and I'm not a massive fan of doing Labyrinth of Legends. And if I only have to do it twice, I'd be happy to do that. But I then have to make that decision of going, okay, well, if I end up doing Abyss like 2 times, then it's like I only have to do it 1 more time, and then it's like it's pretty much done for me. And as well, the Karina's challenges are kind of like coming to an end point for Volume 2. Not that I will do Volume 1. Again, like a lot of these, I get why Kabam want to put these in, but they're just so boring. In my opinion, I get very bored with them, especially if there's something that takes longer than an hour to do. I'm like, look, I've got better things to do on my time than kind of, you know, being strapped in one piece of content. But in any case, right, we have Eternity of Pain Part 2 coming, and there is a potential rewards payout for that one, which will be likely in end of August, which would be, again, interesting enough. I haven't factored that into like getting stuff, but if that's going to be the same as it could be for Part 1, then hey, then that's again kind of like going, I could wait. But then Kabam may do something. On the forums, I don't know if you've been keeping up to date with the MCOC news. We covered this element of Kabam thinking about changing the way they do rewards. If Kabam do indeed kind of go like, okay, well, we'll change the way that players get the rewards, then that could mean that when this drops in July for Eternity of Pain and runs for, say, 4 weeks, and then the 5th week, it could mean an early payout on the 1st week of August for part 2 of Eternity of Pain. That might be really good, or a better way, especially of how things have been, like, you know, to do the Eternity of Pain Part 1, especially for Thronebreaker. It's been a bit of a better process. This could interest me. And what this could do, as an interesting point, is add an extra 28,500 Tier 6 basic fragments and 22,500 Tier 3 alpha fragments to the chase rewards for Eternity of Pain. And I go, okay, well, that's interesting. I don't need to wait for Act 8.1 to come out, and that gets put up there. So there's options. And as well, I have to be optimistic that a July side quest could come around that gives 11,400 and 9,000 respectively for the month. Like, and that's a tall order, because Kabam have normally been putting out either 5,700 and 4,500 increments of the respective Tier 6 basic and Tier 3 alpha fragments. So you just don't know. It could be a case that, you know, Kabam go, right, well, what we're going to do is we're going to do more of the Tier 3 alpha and less of the Tier 6 basics. So then again, it kind of like puts my interest in how I grind. So on Friday, so, you know, when the July 4th deals drop, but also when the new update of info drop, if Kabam say, right, well, what we're going to do is you're going to have rewards of 11,000 or 14,000 Tier 3 alpha and there's no Tier 6 basic, then what I'll be doing is putting a July 4th deal purchase, if I get the 10k that I need, into the Tier 6 basic. And what this will mean is it will be able to balance the books. So we're looking at a situation like this and going, okay, well, you know, in July, Kabam aren't going to put 11,400 there. They put 15,000 there, whatever. And that goes boom like that. And that number is like, okay, well, that's great. That inflates that Tier 3 alpha. But then I'm lacking a little bit on the amount that I need. And I can just go, right, well, I'll buy a July 4th deal, which is, I don't know, 22,500 there. And I kind of like switch things around. If I was going to focus Tier 3 alpha to purchase, I then go the other way. At least it means that one is done, and then I can then go, okay, well, I can then pick and choose and play around with the numbers as to where I'm going for the next couple of months, as to the content that I'm targeting, and the other way I'm going. And, you know, this is helpful. Hopefully Kabam do another piece of content. I'm not talking like an Abyss style type content, but then it could be something, you know, interesting for the player base to go and grind. But I don't know what Kabam are doing half the time. If Battlegrounds comes back and offers things like Tier 6 basic fragments and Tier 3 alpha, I might be interested to grind it out. But that's just the thing. Living with hope with what Kabam are kind of bringing in that could be interesting to the player base. In any case, I am still excited to kind of grind this out. I'm getting there, but I'm getting there at my own pace. And I'm enjoying myself elsewhere. So that's the thing, isn't it? Always focus on what you're interested in and how you plan to do it in the game. That's been where I'm up to with my grind. If anybody's interested in the spreadsheet, go and check it out in the link in the description. How are you with kind of like getting a non-spending kind of Paragon grind? Are you free to play? Non-spending? Have you kind of got Paragon already? You know, how are you kind of like doing at the moment? And what are your chase kind of goals for 2022 and you kind of summer months? Because that's important as well. Where are you going this summer with the game? Are you interested? Are you not interested anymore? I think it's always good to have targets, kind of like have an interest. But that's been the video. Thank you very much for watching. And that's been a little update on where I'm up to. And I will see you very soon. Check out some other content which will be located on screen right now. And yeah, have a good one. Bye-bye.